What's up, everyone? I'm Justin from justin-ravelli.com, and today I'm going to bring you through week 2, day 3 of Elena and I's training. To begin today's session, Elena's going to be doing back squats, and I'm going to be doing front squats for 5 sets of 3 reps. Since we completed all the sets and reps I had programmed for last week, today we're progressing by increasing the resistance. Since this is a new program for us, we both played it conservative with the poundage we used last week to make sure we could actually complete the sets and reps, and therefore this week we want to bring the weight up. Because you've been hearing me say this in other videos so much, I have to mention we're not going to be able to progress by increasing the weights used each week or by adding an extra rep each week, as we're not in the beginning stages of training. However, you will notice we will be changing up our set and rep schemes, rest times, and other variables over the time period we're training together. Next, we're moving into a single leg movement where Elena's going to be doing step-ups, and I'll be performing back-loaded reverse lunges. Both of us are going to execute 3 sets of 8 reps per leg. If you're interested, I explain much more about why we're doing this exercise in week 1 here. I just wanted to mention that the reason Elena's using step-ups instead of a lunge variation this week is because she did something at work that irritated her right hip flexor. We experimented with a couple things, but this exercise felt best, so she stuck with it for today. Since I recorded this video a while ago, she is 100% better now. You can see that I'm not using a long or short, but more moderate stride length here. However, I'll just quickly state that the closer the stride and or the more upright the torso, the more the quadriceps are usually involved. The longer the stride and or the more forward lean you have, the more the glutes and hamstrings are targeted. Whether your goal is to get strong or more developed legs, either of these single leg exercises are movements to consider. Now we're moving into barbell glute bridges for 3 sets of 8 reps with a 2 to 5 second hold at peak contraction on the last rep. Again, if you want more information about why we're doing this exercise, you can click on the video to our week 1 training with voiceover here. Like with the squats at the beginning of today's session, this is an exercise we haven't done in a while. With that said, we were able to increase the resistance we used as we're just getting more familiar with it again. Here we're forcing the glutes and hamstrings to do most of the work and limiting the amount of lower back involvement. I notice a lot of new clients I train aren't used to getting their butt involved during this type of hip extension and bridging, and therefore they use a lot of hamstring musculature when first getting familiar with this exercise. As a result, cramping usually occurs in those muscles, the hamstrings, from doing so. There's also a fair share of people who feel this in their lower back, which is generally caused from overarching of the low back. However, just some technique adjustments and or the cues of getting the core tight, keeping the torso straight, and or teaching clients to keep their rib cage down usually helps. Lastly, we're finishing off with ab wheel rollouts for 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps, or for 1 more set than we did last week. We're using this to train the core musculature on the front side of the body. We're focusing on resisting extension and hyperextension of the lower back. This is so the tension remains on the rectus abdominis or six pack rather than traveling to the hip flexors and lower back. A big problem with this is where people progress too quickly and butcher the technique, and therefore they don't accomplish what they've intended to. I talk more about this in week 1 here. If you want to see more on how our entire program is laid out or how we're going to progress each week, check back or subscribe. I have more information on my website and in the description box below. I hope this was useful, and thanks for watching.